Guys, don't you think it's kind of crazy how like only 1% of the 1% of agencies actually get successful? Well, it feels like that anyway. When I was first getting started with agency and starting at all social media marketing agency, honestly, it felt like everybody else was achieving success and I was just watching everyone around me get this success and I was thinking, I must be cursed. There's something against me. The universe is plotting against me. I don't know what's going on. I am not successful. So I kind of broke that down. I've kind of been thinking about it, like, what are the actual reasons or mistakes people make that kind of like stops them from actually, you know, getting success with their agency and scaling up to that 10K per month mark, that infamous number. That's the number that everybody seems to want to hit, that infamous number, if you will. So what I'm going to do is break down the kind of like top 10 mistakes and just things that people are doing wrong when it comes to actually starting their agency from the actual get-go. If you see me looking over here, by the way, guys, just because I've got a couple of notes on my computer, just want to make sure that I go through these quite swiftly. I always say that in my videos, but I always end up running over. That's because I just enjoy doing YouTube videos for you guys, free content. And all I ask for return in, you know, for this free content, by the way, is just drop a like, comment, subscribe. That being said, just last little plug as well. Don't forget, if you guys are interested in rolling into Transmutation, which teaches you how to start an agency from complete zero to 10K per month, you know, everything throughout, you know, scripts, templates, contracts, the video trainings, everything you need to do, every single step you need to actually take is obviously documented in that with real life examples and case studies and stuff like that. So if you want to enroll into that, it's going from $797 USD to $997 USD on the 5th of October 2022. So I don't know when you're watching this, but hopefully you're enrolled before then so you can save yourself $200. Anywho, top 10 mistakes when starting the SMA. I want to break this down because obviously if you can figure these things out, you can do the opposite of those and, you know, success, you'll see success is what I'm trying to say. Find out what other people, and as they say, it's a very good point actually. A lot of people say that, like, to be very smart, you want to take a look at what other people's mistakes are and then, you know, learn from other people's mistakes, if you will. So number one is, I've actually seen that a lot of people come into SMMA, right, with some really shoddy, unrealistic expectations. People literally think they can start an SMA, right, with $0 in their bank account and scale it to like 10K per month in 3 months, only with 20 outreach per day, all by themselves. Like, guys, honestly, it's much more difficult than that, is what I'm trying to say. Think about it. Would you start any other business and try to get it to 10K per month, right, with $0 in your bank account by putting minimal effort in? So why do you guys think you can come into SMA, right? Start doing 20 outreach per day, only 20 outreach per day. I know some people think that's a lot. That's nowhere near enough, guys. I'll actually show you some real numbers in a second. But long story short, a lot of people think they can come into SMA, start with 20 outreach a day, $0 in their bank account, doing it all by themselves and still get to 10K per month within 3 months or less. It's a very, very tall order if you think that's actually going to be, you know, possible, if you will. Now, actually, let me break down some real numbers for you guys. It might actually take you, and this has actually happened to me, by the way, when I first ever got my first actual e-commerce client, it took me 1,600 emails, or 1,600 emails, excuse me, to actually land my first ever e-commerce client. Now, it might take you a little bit more than that. Let's say even if it takes you about 1,800 emails, again, this is just a hypothetical number I'm throwing out there for you guys, just to kind of like see the sort of numbers, you know, give you guys a feel for what it really takes. So it might actually take you 1,800 emails, right, just to land one client. Is it going to be worth it? Yes, of course, it's still going to be worth it to start. It's just that if you're actually, and if you break down the math, right, let's say you're closing clients at 2K per month, $2,000 US per month, and you're outsourcing to a media buyer, somebody who runs your ads basically for $500 per month, which by the way is harder than it sounds to find an actual media buyer, which we'll get into it in another video. But long story short, your expenses are $500. That means you're going to be making net 1.5K per client. Now, to get to 10K net, which is the obvious infamous kind of like number, is technically 6.66666 recurring clients that you're actually going to need to close. We'll call it 7 clients to be on the safe side. So to get 7 clients, right, now to get to 1 client, should I say, it's going to take you 1,800 emails, again, in this hypothetical scenario. So what we need to do is we need to multiply that by 7. So if you're getting 1 client every 1,800 emails, times that by 7, you're looking at around 12,600 emails. Now, to actually do that within 90 days, you take the 12,600 emails, right? And that's to individual different businesses. So that's actually looking at about 140 outreach per day for 90 days straight without missing any single days, including Saturdays and Sundays. So as you can see, it's a lot more difficult than you guys actually expect. Some of you guys are sending like 100 outreach and then messaging me on Instagram saying, hey, I've sent 100 outreach. What's going on? I've not got a client yet. Like, you need to do at least 10x more than that, 20x more than that. It might even take you 2,000 emails just to land one client. It literally took me 1,600 emails to land one client. And I think the reason why a lot of people have got these unrealistic expectations is because they're watching all these gurus online talking about, I don't think they make it out to be easier than what it is. I think they just say it in a nonchalant way, completely forgetting that like the actual numbers that have actually gone into this. Not only that, but sometimes, when kind of like you see an online person talking about one of their students going from 0 to 10K, they highlight the best ones, if you will. And there's people in the programs that probably take the programs, don't actually use the program, by the way. And there's people that actually use the programs and can actually get successful very quickly. But every single time, the common denominator I've found is when people do get success, it's always because they're doing a whole bunch of outreach consistently. And it's actually quality outreach as well. So that's one of the mistakes. The second mistake I keep seeing people make, and this one I cannot kind of like technically I did it myself, but I cannot actually fathom this one now that I'm more mature entrepreneur, if you will, and that is perfection analysis, or analysis paralysis, as they like to call it. These are people that basically don't start their agency, right? Because they want to make sure that everything is completely perfect. I'm not even joking. I've seen so many people fall for this trap where it's like you want to get everything perfect. So they're trying to build out this fancy website, logo, business cards. They've got all this crazy stuff. They're worried about what their profile picture looks like on Upwork, for example. If they're doing Upwork outreach, they're worried about kind of like their email scripts, trying to get everything perfect instead of just starting. I actually heard a mentor, or I think it was actually a mentor, a YouTube video that I was watching one time, where it's like if you ask 10 people, right, to just 10 skinny people that want to bulk up and get bigger arms, if you will, to just tell them to just do, or just ask them, if you will, to just do press ups. 9 out of those 10 people will, instead of just getting on the floor and doing press ups, any sort of press ups, and then getting better over time, with the form and technique, 9 guys out of the 10 guys, right, will basically go back and forth with the mentor, asking what type of press ups should I do? Should I do diamond press ups? Should I do wide press ups? Should I do medium width press ups? That sort of stuff. And the point basically being made there is that instead of just going for it and actually just doing outreach and then getting better over time, people basically try, before they even start, before they actually try and put the effort in, they're trying to get everything perfect. So it's all about going for it. Forget perfection analysis. Go for this, guys. Again, so that's I guess point number 2, perfection analysis. A lot of people are scared to actually start because they want everything perfect. Perfect does not exist. I'm not perfect yet, and you will never feel ready, by the way. You will never ever feel ready. You will feel what you call imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is where you basically feel like, because you haven't done something before, you feel like if you're trying to sell it to somebody, you almost feel like you're scamming them or you're doing something unethical, which is completely normal, by the way, guys. It's supposed to feel like that because you literally have not done this before. So you need some sort of reference point first, if you will. As in, you need to just go out there and do it. It's like a catch-22. Which one came first, the chicken or the egg? You just have to go for it, guys. Long story short. Now, the third mistake I keep seeing when people come into SMMA is they just offer the same service to the same niche using the same outreach methods. It's just the same everything. And this is kind of like how people normally start. They'll be Googling online like how to make money online, right? When they're dead broke, which is already kind of like a red flag. I mean, which other business do you know are out there would you start when you're completely broke? If I was going back and starting again, I would probably just go get a job, save up to like 3, 4, 5K or something like that, have a little bit of cash flow coming in and then start an actual business. I've noticed that it's very, very difficult to start a business. Well, it's difficult to start a business, but then when you're starting a business when you're completely broke, it multiplies it by like 10x the difficulty, if you will. So a lot of people start Googling online, they come across the same gurus. Well, first of all, it's the same business models first, like drop shipping, Amazon FBA, crypto trading, real estate, all these sorts of things. People normally go down the dropshipping route like how I did. Then they actually switch over to SMA. Then they come across the same gurus with the same programs. They go into those programs and they're taught the same thing. Offer Facebook ads to like info product businesses or e-commerce businesses or local business online. So everybody's just trying to offer Facebook ads. And then what happens is everybody starts doing out cold outreach, sending out cold outreach to everybody. So all these people have just got a friggin' email that's basically being sent out to all these different businesses. There's no differentiation whatsoever. So obviously it's not going to be working if you. It's not going to work, if you will, because you're just doing the same thing as the next man. There's no differentiation. There's no difference in kind of like what you're offering. If I was to ask you right now, what agency are you running? Obviously, just answer this in your head. Okay, what type of agency are you running? What sort of services are you running? What niche are you running those, providing or offering that service to? Then answer this. What makes your agency different to all the other agencies out there offering the exact same thing you are to the same particular niche, if you will. So as you can see, there's no difference, if you will. So what's going on there, guys, is that you're offering the same service to the same niche, no differentiation whatsoever. You need to start thinking outside of the box, if you will. So I don't know why I keep saying if you will. I had a funny comment the other day talking about if you will. I don't know why I say it all the time. But long story short, 4 is little to no outreach in general. So a lot of people start SMMA, right? And again, this links back to kind of like point number 1, where they just don't do enough outreach. They think they're doing enough outreach. They're doing 25 outreach a day, 30 outreach a day, 40 outreach a day. And that's, you know, and the reason for this, by the way, guys, is because people or themselves, the actual owner of the agency, when you start an agency, you become the own bottleneck within your agency. As in, you're doing 20, 30, 40, 50 outreach per day, for example, maybe even 100 outreach a day if you're really going for it, if you haven't got like a 9-to-5 job, and you're thinking that's enough outreach. As you can see, I've already broken down, you need to be doing 140 outreach per day, every single day for 90 days straight to actually land an outreach. Excuse me, to land, you know, 7 clients in 90 days. That's what that number was there. But a lot of people are not doing enough outreach in general. And the funny thing is, they believe that they are, because they've seen all these other gurus online talk about there's certain case studies where people have only done like 10 outreach and they've landed a client. So what happens is people start setting, again, unrealistic expectations, and they start comparing themselves to those case studies. So a lot of people will be doing 100 outreach, and because it's their time, if you will, and they're putting in this work, they feel validated now to complain. They feel like they've got a validation now and an actual valid point to complain, because they're actually putting in 8 hours worth of work, which is actual outreach now. You know, once they've got over the fluff stuff of creating websites and logos, doing all that crazy procrastination stuff, then they start putting in proper, you know, outreach, you know, numbers in, if you will. The problem is though, is that because it's you by yourself, you're limited by how much time you have by yourself that you can actually generate enough outreach for, if you will, or push out enough outreach, should I say. And what that's going there, what's happening there is that you're basically building up this bias where it feels like you're doing a lot of work, but realistically you're not, because you could actually be doing much better. You could be doing much more. If you had a team of people using, for example, something like the hybrid system that's taught inside of instrumentation, which I keep mentioning over and over again, where you basically build out an outreach team, you could literally be doing 200, 300, 400, 500 outreach per day. If you're talking numbers like that, then it becomes very difficult for you not to land clients. Now, point number 5, or mistake number 5, is trying to conduct outreach all by yourself, which kind of I just kind of touched just then. What this basically leads to is, and let's see this is like the common mistake number 1. It leads to people or new agency owners getting burnt out very, very quickly. And again, I highly recommend trying the hybrid system for this, where you use something like Upwork or a warmer traffic source like a freelance website or even Facebook groups to land your first couple clients first organically, kind of basically from a warmer traffic source. Then take that cash flow and actually start hiring virtual assistants to do your outreach at a higher number, higher frequency, and it's going to be more consistent. So they try, again, mistake number 5 is people try to conduct outreach all by themselves, trying to land a client. So they're doing all the lead sourcing, all the prospecting, all the personalizing of the actual outreach. And all that does is it leads to burnout very, very quickly. Extremely quickly. I've seen people burn out within the first week because they're trying to do 50 emails a day, every single day for a week by themselves that are personalized. It's insane stuff, guys. It's very difficult to do that. You need a team of people to actually handle this for you, which is where the hybrid system comes in. Number 6 is, and again, this is such a cliche classic, is that people try to offer multiple different services. They pick one niche, which is cool, but then they start offering like Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Google ads, social media management as well, SEO, all these different things. And they've got like 10 different things or services, should I say, listed on their website. And their website is like super fancy. It's got all like these graphics and things pop out on the screen, all these animations. And they think that because they've got a fancy website, the customers will come or clients will come. It doesn't work like that. What you got to do is you've got to offer one service. And this is outside of Upwork, by the way, guys. I know that if you're familiar with the channel, Upwork's slightly different, but this is outside of Upwork I'm talking about here. So what you want to do is you want to offer one service to one particular niche and master that, if you will. Now, the reason why I say that is because it's hard enough starting an agency, right? In one niche with one service. So why make it even more difficult on yourself by trying to offer that same niche multiple different services? So literally running an agency with just one service is like the agency within itself. If you try to offer a second service, it's almost like you literally have to hire different people or become an expert at this at the second service. So it's almost like you're running 2 agencies at once. Honestly, guys, it's very, very difficult. Stick to one service. Number 7, this is obviously, or should I say number 7, is a obvious one, not being able to retain clients. So people that do and can actually get clients aren't able to retain them. Normally what I've seen in this particular situation is that it's a new agency owner. they start doing outreach themselves, right? So they're doing all this outreach themselves. They actually do end up landing a client, right? But then because they've got this client, they treat them like, the queen, RIP to the queen. Obviously, it's actually her funeral at the time of recording this. But long story short, they try to actually manage this particular one client that they've closed now and actually focus all their energy on this one client. So it's almost like they're juggling two plates. This is how I like to imagine it. Imagine you're starting an agency and the first plate you're juggling, right, is your outreach. So you're juggling this plate, you're spinning this plate on a stick, if you will, and you're trying to juggle this one plate, and it's going well for a bit, and then you actually land a client. So now you've landed a client. Now you've got two plates to juggle. So you're trying to do outreach, but you're also trying to get the client that you've closed results. So now you're trying to juggle two different plates. The results don't go so well for this particular client over here, or you're actually learning on a job, if you will, if you're doing it all by yourself. So what's going to happen is you put this plate down. So you're not doing outreach anymore. And now you're focusing all on this particular client over here, trying to juggle this particular client. Then if that drops, you go back straight to zero because you've got no outreach and no leads in the pipeline. You haven't kept the outreach up. So you've got no new potential deals in the pipeline. And now you've just lost a client. So I see that a lot of people can't retain clients because they don't have, first of all, the expertise. You can go on YouTube and find the expertise. Or better yet, you can actually go and find a media buyer. Contracts and templates and how to do all this, again, is inside the HR Invitation. You guys know what I'm talking about if you're already in there. Number 8, if you will, number 8 is information overload. I've seen that a lot of people that start SMMA, right, they want to get into SMMA, they're sold on SMMA, they understand it, they understand how it's a legit business model and it genuinely works. But what happens is they get stuck in this cycle of watching way too many YouTube videos from all these different people and they don't take action. And what's happening now, guys, is that there's not actually a lack of information out there. There's actually too much information out there. As in, you can go and learn how to friggin' build a rocket on YouTube. I literally saw a friggin' YouTube video earlier today, like kind of like as I was scrolling through on my mobile phone just to check a couple things. And I saw it was like a tutorial on how to build like a Lego battery powered friggin' submarine. Like, guys, you can literally build submarines and friggin' rockets learning stuff from the actual internet. So the point I'm trying to make is that there's not a lack of information these days. It's that there's too much information. So one person or one guru will say, definitely do Instagram DMs, and another person will say Instagram DMs are dead, definitely don't do that. So it's almost like information's conflicting and you guys are getting confused and you're just not able to take action because you just literally don't know who to listen to. And that's what you call information overload, where information is, there's so much of it, it's starting to conflict itself. Now this kind of leads me on to point number 9, which is no willingness to actually invest in themselves. This was something that I did. I personally thought I could go, and the funny thing is, this literally links directly into the previous point. Not willing to basically invest in yourself. This is something that I did when I first got started. It literally took me 17 entire months from April the 23rd, I started my actual agency, all the way to September the 3rd. And that was April the 23rd, 2018, all the way to September. It was actually the 3rd, 2019, when I closed my first ever real estate client for £750, by the way. And that was technically I had a client before that, but it was terrible. It was like a £250 client. I never really mentioned on this channel. It was actually embarrassing. It was like a one-off thing. But long story short, not willingness to invest in themselves. And the reason for this is because they think on the internet that if they just go long enough, just go through all these videos long enough, they will eventually find all the missing parts and put it all together. Honestly, guys, you can technically build an agency like that, but you're probably going to end up like me, where I went literally 17 entire friggin' months to actually land a client. And now this is not a subliminal kind of like sales tactic or reverse psychology thing to actually enroll in my program. Feel free, if you don't want to enroll in my program, never ever enroll in my program. It's completely fine. And again, that's not even me saying that for reverse psychology or like double reverse psychology or whatever you want to call it. But long story short, guys, I genuinely believe now, like for example, like I've enrolled in like Sam Ovens programs and stuff like that, and I've got programs by all sorts of dudes, and I literally still to this day watch their programs over and over and over and over and over again. And it's funny because like those people that create those programs probably don't even know I'm watching their programs like right now. For example, if I go watch like a Sam Ovens program, for example, probably doesn't even know I'm watching his program, yet he has a direct effect on my life and my results, if you will. So I'm actually a big believer in enrolling in programs, invest in yourself. As they say, wherever your energy flows, attention follows, or whatever that crazy saying is. I butchered that terribly, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Wherever energy goes, attention flows, if you will. This is because you're trying to get all the information for free, which is completely fine, guys, but just know it's going to take you much longer than the next dude. I guess the easiest way to do this is just go and find somebody who already has the information you want, or find somebody who has the lifestyle you want, if you will, and then just go and buy the actual tactics from that particular person, because you can actually go and buy tactics. And then number 10 is outreach scripts, people's outreach scripts, beginners outreach scripts. always are so friggin' templated. They're so formal and they're very salesy, guys. And there's no personalization in them as well. So guys, those are the 10 different mistakes people make when it comes to starting an SMA. I've seen these time and time again. Go through this list again and make sure you're doing the opposite, literally the direct polar opposite of all of these, so you can actually scale your agency to that infamous 10K per month mark. Now guys, if you guys are interested in enrolling in implementation, the link is below. Enough plugging of that. Other than that though, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you can actually see some of the mistakes people make and how to actually rectify them. Go out there, honestly, take action, guys. That's pretty much the premise of this entire video. Take action, do lots of outreach. The more outreach you do, the luckier you're gonna get, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.